You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome into the Outspoken Sportscast here. The gang is back for this Friday's episode 120, NBA Western Championship and Eastern Championship. That's going to be the spotlight of the week this week. How's it going, guys? How are you guys doing?
Great. Good week.
Good. Everything's going good.
It's going good there, Jeff. Jeff, you have to tell us about your snow. It's snowing where you're at. It's 95 here in Texas. That's just insane to me. But we're going to cover the basketball playoffs and the spotlight of the week. In the headlines, we got some interesting things. We got two awesome college coaches going at it verbally, body bagging each other.
Love it. Love it.
We have a possible return from an NFL quarterback that just retired not too long ago. We got Craig's hat trick segment where he talks about the playoff hockey and much more. And, of course, what's in our locker. Come find out after this video. All right, guys, welcome in. The NBA playoffs have been here. They have been really entertaining this season, and we're a little behind on the Miami series. The first game, Miami versus Celtics, the Celtics showed up flat in that one, as they've tend to do every now and then. Jimmy Butler puts the heat on his back and scores 41 points, goes off on him. They win the first game of the series, 118-107. Butler is not in my eyes is not a superstar, but he was not being stopped that game. He said, "This is I'm not being stopped. I'm going to win this game," and he put the team on his back. Tatum had 29 and Brown had 24. Smart went off with the injury. The Boston Celtics this series have been battling some injuries in this series so far, but game one did go to the Heat. This is going to be, I think, the best series that's left as far as competitive. These two actually matched up in the bubble. Do y'all remember they matched up really good in the bubble together? And they played really well in that series, and it was hard fought and crazy games. This is going to be a great series. What'd y'all think about game one?
I'll let Craig go ahead.
Game one was what it was supposed to be, but when you lose Smart and Horford, that obviously changed things. So Boston came out quick and had an early lead, and then Miami ran them down on the back of Jimmy Butler. But as you can see, I think Horford and Smart are very big part of Boston's chemistry and what they need. So if they're going to be there and not there, I think that can make a difference.
Yeah, I think I talked about it earlier, as I always kind of Miami seems like a thorn a little bit. I think I knew they were going to be some form of they've kind of been up and coming. Obviously, you talked about the bubble and kind of how they've been designed to kind of, I guess, young, and they've worked kind of their way up from even the last time they were a big major threat, which was when they had all three, the big three, with LeBron James and everybody. So this is going to be very exciting series. Boston's not going to lay down. I think this is going to be a very, very close contested 6-7. I would even say 7.
Probably 7.
That's what I was saying earlier in the week.
Yeah, and I think it's fun. I'd like to see Miami try to do something. I think both teams are excellent. You can't go wrong with either or. But it's interesting to see Miami. I think because there's some really young talent on that team too. That's exciting. So
yeah, they do have a lot of good young talent. Tyler Hero is on there. Robinson has come out of nowhere. I think he was undrafted at one point where he started on the team. He shoots threes. He's got his big contract. You got guys like Jimmy Butler, who is a dog. He is the definition of dog. I'm going to take over this game type of person. And then they've added pieces in Oladipo, and they got Bam Adebayo, and they've got plenty of players, and they still have one of the best head coaches in the NBA.
Spoelstra has done.
Spoelstra,
I mean.
Yeah.
Magic with that roster.
Magic.
And he's been around for a while. I mean, he's
been around for a long while.
LeBron tried to get rid of him, and they said, no, that's not happening.
Well,
that works.
That didn't work out.
Is Pat Riley still in that organization making decisions?
I think he's the GM or whatever.
Yeah.
LeBron said Spoelstra's got to go, and Pat's like, that's not how it works around here.
That's not how it works.
There's the door.
So that they look really good. And Boston is a team, we're waiting to see them take that next step. They've had talent. Something always happens. They get Kyrie Irving. He goes crazy, leaves the team. They've got a young talent. Al Horford is an older player who we thought had nothing left. But as you see, he misses game 1. He goes out of game 1. They lose that game big time. He still plays an important piece of that team, and so does Smart. And then the second
Smart
game,
does defensively.
Oh, defensively great, and he'll put up. He's not a big.
But his big thing is defensively.
Oh yeah,
that's where you miss him the most.
Yes, and they came back for game 2. Game 2 was last night. The Celtics came back. They dominated the game, 127-102. Smart and Horford were both back. And Smart had 24 points. Brown had 24 points. Tatum had 27 points. And when these guys are scoring like that and playing good defense, they're going to be a tough team to beat. It doesn't matter who they're playing up against. And in this series, I think Boston ultimately takes it. My only worry with Boston is they have a tendency to fall flat. And we saw it in the last series they played. They came out in game 1 against Milwaukee, and they struggled. Tatum didn't get going until the fourth quarter. You had guys, they have those games like that where it's an off night. And those are the kind of games when you get in this conference championship, you cannot have those games. You're playing a team that's too good that they're going to beat you if you have those nights. And you saw that game 1 with the injuries. Game 2, the Celtics were back on top. This is going to be a back and forth. I don't think home court really matters. It's in this series. It's these teams will show up and play,
and both are hungry. Like both teams are just starving to get into the finals, and I think if they even get in there, it's dangerous. Whoever's gonna have to face them out of the other two. So,
right, and speaking of hungry, Jimmy Butler is looking for that first championship, showing that he's the dog that I think he is, and
he's been showing that all year.
Yeah,
all year.
He doesn't get the superstar label, but he is definitely a star.
I think he felt disrespected with the contract deal, and I think when finally Miami was the one to go with him, he feels that he owes them this kind of production because they went with him. So he's like, I'm going to reward you guys for believing in me, because he's trying to show the other teams that didn't believe in him that he's trying to show them what they missed out on.
Right. I'm going to ask you this question first. Who do you think wins the series?
I mean, I think if Boston can play defense like the way we talked about this in the last series. If the Boston Celtics, who've been here all season and play defense and lock it down, then that team's going to be very tough to beat. If the guys that showed up in the games that we're questioning, hey, what is this team? Why are they, looks like nobody's hustling. They're letting guys run down open rebounds right in front of them. I mean, It depends on which team shows up. The one that wants to play and is hungry wins 90% of their games. The one that doesn't, they get steamrolled. So it's confusing.
You think the Celtics? If you had to say,
I think if the real Celtics show up, yes, I think they win. Okay. But I think if you give Miami any kind of hope, Butler and Tyler Hero and these guys will take advantage of it.
They can put it on you.
Yeah. It's going to be close.
Who do you have, Jeff?
My heart is like, go with Miami. But gut wise, I think Boston's more better defensive team. If their defense is plays as well as they played most of the season, defense is going to take a I guess a step ahead over a high-powered offense, especially as good of a defense as Boston has. So if they can keep it up, I agree with Craig. It's Boston.
I agree too. I got Boston winning this one in 7. I want Boston to win this game or this series. The Heat's a good team and they got some good players, but I would like to see Tatum have a chance for the championship. I would like to see Smart be rewarded in Hartford and these guys. I think they got some young, talented players, and I really like to see them win. Craig, do you have a team on here that you go, I'd rather have Boston or Miami win rather than just saying, what is your heart telling you instead of your head?
I think you want, if you look at it, Boston's older. They've got some guys that are Horford and these guys that are a thing. So you want them to kind of, Miami's going to be here, I think, for years to come.
Yeah.
So they're going to have their opportunities as they grow together and as that nucleus molds together. They were in the bubble. They made it. They last year weren't as good. They didn't have as good of a season. Now they're back. So I believe Miami is going to be around longer. So if you look at it, Boston, you kind of want Boston to win now to pay off all their hard work, and those guys are going to ride off into the sunset, and then they're going to go into a rebuild here in the next year or two. Whereas Miami is going to have multiple chances here in the next few years.
Gotcha. All right. Well, the only other game to talk about is our Dallas Mavericks, and they didn't show up game 1, guys. The Warriors. They'll
show up tonight. They'll show up tonight. Damn it!
They better. Now, all 5 of the Warrior starters were double digits as they take game 1. They make it look easily. They win 112-87. And this is the kind of game you can't have in these series. The Dallas Mavericks. When I woke up and saw the score, I said they didn't shoot well. Luka didn't have a good game. Nobody for the Dallas Mavericks had a great game. They shot 22% from 3-point range. They made 4 threes the whole second half. That's it. That's their game. That is their game. If they're not hitting down 3-point shots, they're not winning. And me and Craig have been telling you this about role players. If they don't show up on the road a lot of times, but this is the game that you can't have. You can't have. The Warriors are too good. And the Warriors didn't play all that fantastic. They didn't have a great percentage shooting night. So I felt like this is one that the Mavericks let slip a little bit. But it's just game 1. The Mavericks went down 2 games to none to the Suns, and we were able to win that series. If the role players do not play better on the road, the Mavericks will not win this series.
No.
This is that simple. It comes down to that.
I mean, I from what we're hearing today about some of this, you had a TNT announcer talk about how, this was a Luka flu game or something. I don't know.
He was supposedly sick after the game, and this
who knows? He a lot of people said he looked sluggish. He just didn't look like his self. Who knows how true that is?
He got clawed in the face. We see that big scratch.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
going.
I saw that. The thing is about this team is we've watched them rebound multiple times this playoff. And in adversity, they tend to kind of bounce back and figure it out. I think that they will. It's hard because I didn't think we would even get out of the Sun series. So it's hard for me to say, are we going to get out of this series? I don't know. It's a tough series. This is a different team than the Suns. The nucleus there in Golden State is solidified. These guys know how to play with each other. They've been playing with each other forever. This is going to be tough, man. This is a tough series because it's like I want the Mavericks to go. I'm glad they got to this point.
Oh yeah, it's a successful season no matter what.
So in the end, I mean, Luka's going to be in this situation multiple times. So, oh man, if they can win this game today, let's say the Mavericks come out and it's a totally different outcome, I could see this going to six games maybe. I think they're going to definitely win some in Dallas. So we've seen them beat Golden State before this season. It's all about. I don't think this was a scheme thing. I think this was just something was off with them that night.
Oh, just missing. They just missed everything.
I don't think Golden State did anything different that they tried to do the last few times they've even met in the regular season and stuff. So there's a few extra pieces that they don't think they saw in the season. So we'll see. It's so weird. It's hard to, because I mean it's my team, so it's like I don't know what to do.
And Draymond Green scored 25 points the first game. Like that doesn't happen very often.
I mean, did they switch it up in the game? I did kind of catch a little bit of it, but did they at any point go big? Did they change? I mean, I don't know. I wonder what Kid's gonna do if there was a little something that he could have changed that we may see in this game tonight.
Well, he's definitely got to make adjustments, and that's one thing Jason Kidd's done fantastic this year and during these series is make those adjustments when they needed to. And look, this team, like Jeff said, we've seen them fight adversity in the playoffs. We've seen them down 2-0. They could have just gave up against the Suns to play in the number 1 seed. They didn't give up. Luka's not the kind of player. They've made those adjustments. They fight hard. They got a head coach that they believe in. The head coach has got them playing smart, and I don't know if they have enough firepower to beat Golden State in 7 games. But they're going to give it their best shot. I think the first game was just an off night for everybody. Like I said, Luka was off. Everybody was off. Bertans was 0 for 4, didn't make a single point. Everybody, Brunson, they were all off. 22% is a poor shooting night. What say you, Craig?
Golden State, I mean, I picked them from the jump. When we first started this, I told you Golden State I thought could win the title. The way they play, they've been in these games before. All these guys have been on these title runs, so they've all been in these big games. Nobody on Dallas's roster has played in the Western Conference Final. They don't. I mean, when they show up in all the crowd and the cameras, and they're like, "What is this? This isn't normal." So I think it was a little bit of shock, a little bit of a deal. Now they're here. Now they've seen it. Golden State's a different animal. They run different. Their movement all the time. Mm-hmm. And by the time the third quarter and the fourth quarter get around, you got guys that are exhausted. So chasing guys all the way around. So that's where Kidd makes the adjustment, is somehow switch so where you're not chasing guys around the thing and exhausting guys, or expand your bench a little bit deeper and get guys to switch in and out to where they're not. You got guys that are fresh on the floor that are, you're going to have to pick how you want to defend them. So, but they had a solid game plan. Steph and Clay at halftime were 4 of 17, roughly. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. But, so they did what they had to do. Steph only had 23. Like, he didn't go for 50. So, I think they had a game plan. If Luka can put his 40 up or whatever and then get
Exactly.
any kind of help. I mean, I don't think the Mavericks are just going to get run in every game. I think they're going to win a couple. I just think Golden State has more firepower. But again, it's like we were saying in the other series, like with Miami. Dallas is going to be here for the next few years. So this is experience. They're playing with house money. If they don't do anything, they're it's a success. They're not disappointed. If they'd have got beat by Utah, then they're disappointed.
Yeah.
But to beat Utah, to beat Phoenix, Jason Kidd has made two the coach of the year. He took his trophy and just smashed it and said, I'm good. I own you, so I don't think Dallas has anything to hang their head about.
Right. And the Warriors are that slashing team. They're moving around a lot.
Moving all the time.
They haven't been shooting that great from the 3-point percent line. They take a lot of long 2-point shots. They're not very efficient in that way. And if the Mavericks are hitting at three, if Luka scores 30 points and the Mavericks are hitting the 3-point shots, I think they take game one. But, you look at the game, I believe it was game 5 against the Suns or game 6, the Mavericks got ran. Well, if you watch that game, they were in it all the way till the mid of the third quarter. They were in that game, and then they started missing a lot of shots, and then the game got taken over. The Mavericks are going to be in these games as long as they continue to hit shots, and that's what they are. People were like, "Well, we can't." They need to stop taking so many 3-point shots. Well, that's kind of all they got. You have Luka. Okay, Luka can score wherever he wants. He can drive the ball, put the ball on the ground, and drive the basket. You have guys. Sorry, that comment threw me off my train of thought. But you have that in Brunson. But who other on this Mavericks team can put the ball on the ground? Dinwiddie can do it. But other than that, you don't really have other guys that can put the ball on the ground. This is a team that is going to. Luka's going to drive the basket and hopefully pass it out to that wide open 3-point shot, and they make it. But Josh Allen says Golden State is so fast. Dallas has to play them defensively the same way they did Phoenix in Game 7. They have to speed their game up. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea there, Josh. Thanks for tuning in. And anybody who's tuning in, and guys, you could chat with us at any time. Yeah. And I feel bad for Luka because I feel like he's going to be physically drained at the end of this. And he doesn't get any help. He doesn't get any help. And Golden State, the teams are picking him out because Luka, love him to death, but he's not a very good defensive player, and they're going at him as a weakness, and that's smart of other basketball teams. But that's going to make him more tired. And like you said, you got to get that bench coming in, rotating in and out, and figuring out a way to stop the ball movement. Golden State's really good. When they get that ball movement going on, it's hard to stop them from getting easy looks.
I will say though, we saw some kind of insane defense from him the last 2 games in the Sun series. Stealing the ball, getting his hand on the ball, breaking through them trying to pass through and them kind of just grabbing it, and just kind of reading the team and exactly what their idea was of doing. So I think that over time, maybe not now, but obviously over time, I think he might actually get better, learn a little bit more how to play defense and get better.
I think with Kidd, he gets better.
Oh, yeah.
Kidd helps him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then he's also the other thing is he's got another mentor, right? And the other mentor is MJ. They're really tight, really close. From what it seems like. So that's an interesting person that also has his ear and can talk to him and break down what's wrong, what may be going on. This is a telling sign. This is obviously basically, it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight for Luka in this series. But in the end, it's going to make him a better player. Just like you saw it happen with MJ, even in the last, when we got to see some of his in that documentary series, The Last Dance, where they talked about his career and how many times he got beaten down by Philadelphia, how many times he was going into the playoffs and just got, they got out of the first round, but then the second round he just got demolished, and something happened. Like, it just seems like Luka, I mean, he knows he's close, and everybody knows he's close, but he's going to have to take his licks, I think, and this is going to be one of those series.
And that's kind of how the NBA goes, is that when you come in and you're young, and John Morant's going to go through the same thing, right? You come in young, you got to build your team, you got to learn, and you take those lumps in the playoffs, and then you eventually get to that point where you cross the line, or you cross that line now.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago didn't start out and deal. I mean, they took their licks from Detroit and
For a long
Boston for a long time before they broke through. You know, they sit here and say, "Well, Jordan never lost the finals." Well, no, but he lost a bunch of series before the finals. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't exactly. I mean, Detroit had the Jordan rules, you know, where Dumas
Oh,
locked
yeah.
Jordan down
Yeah.
for many years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you don't just walk in and just own it, you know. I mean,
Right.
so there's these. You do this. You get your experience, take your licks, find the exact. I don't think Dallas has the right chemistry fully. I think they're a piece away. You know, I mean, the Denver thing happened to fall into there, and it worked out. But I think there's probably one guy, and when you make the Western Conference Finals, people now want to come play with Luka, and especially when you're now one step away, this is how you get free agents. Is you're a team, you're a contender, you have Luka, you have the pieces, you have Jason Kidd. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and there's two things I want to bring up. One, I do agree with Josh here. The Mavericks, Luka's speed is methodical. It's not necessarily fast and whatever, and maybe he will speed it up. He seems to also adjust to what's going on as well if he needs to, and we saw a little bit of that in that last game against the Suns. They were flying. The Mavericks were just going fast.
That game 7 was a whole different team.
Oh yeah, it was insane. And so I could see them maybe coming back and trying to speed it up a bit and get ahead of the game, the ball there. And
did they use game 7 that in game 1 they exhausted still?
Yeah.
That's a question.
That's
Tonight,
possible.
now they're rested. That they burned the tank. They just didn't have anything left for game 1.
Yeah,
I mean, because Golden State had 3 or 4 days off. They had already won. They've been at 6. So Dallas may have just been burned through the tank. So tonight you may see a whole nother team.
I think so too. And you know,
you'll know in the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, you'll know.
And you know, I want to see more aggressiveness out of Brunson. I think when Luka was injured the last series, in the Jazz series, Brunson took over. He was aggressive with the basketball. You got to see other guys be aggressive with the basketball. This team, what I like about Jason Kidd is obviously because when they had Rick Carlisle, they shot the ball well. They played offense really well. There was no defense. Jason Kidd's coming here. He knows they can score points, but he has them playing defensive minded basketball, and it's really been into been a big factor into their success. But this team, I think, can play different ways. Fast, slow. Luka has, his own speed. He can speed it up, slow it down. He can score on anybody, anywhere. He's just got to have that help. And my question, my concern when the Dallas Mavericks going into the future is I hope that Mark Cuban doesn't think that, the talent we have is good enough because we got here and doesn't get him any help, because he's doing this with a no number 2. Brunson and Dinwiddie are not a real number 2. If Luka gets a true number 2 that's on the court, Porzingis was never and healthy on the court. Imagine what he can do with that. He's only 23, but that's my concern with the Dallas Mavericks going forward. Is I hope Mark Cuban can bring somebody in, because that's been the biggest question mark for Dallas, is bringing in those free agents and never landing those guys.
I think obviously Mark Cuban isn't an idiot, and I think that he realizes how he realizes how talented Luka is and the star power he has. And I know that you say whatever, but I think you sometimes think about the Dirk situation. I think this is different. I think this is different. Luka's better than Dirk. I think Luka will be.
When Dirk won, he was on the backside of his career.
Yeah, Dirk got better as the years went on, and Luka is already there. And I think there's a huge difference when you have these massive deals at 23 years old with Nike and Air Jordan, and you have all these, this massive just kind of following of people that want to watch him play, that tune in. They get primetime games because of this guy. Like, he's 23.
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah,
Cuban, this is the biggest. Mark Cuban is a big marketer, and this is a massive thing for the Mavericks. Probably one of the biggest things that's ever happened to this team. And so this is easily, he has made decisions so far that have worked since getting Luka. Think about all the stuff that Mark Cuban has put together to
The
this point.
Porzingis thing was not popular when he made it.
Right.
It wasn't a popular deal when he made it. Now it worked out.
Right.
So
bringing in Kid, all these
things. Porzingis was a bust.
No,
right.
but what I'm saying is to give him away for what looked like not getting a lot in return. I mean, Dinwiddie and Bertans were not superstars, were not like equal to what
and
was in the ranking. So people thought they just gave him away for peanuts.
I thought you were talking about.
He's already blown this team up once, and he's learned from it. He will never do that again.
I thought you were talking about when they brought Porzingis to Dallas, not traded him away.
No, well, they thought
and I think Nico Harris has a lot. That's a guy we haven't even talked about. They brought in Nico Harris, and I think that guy has
He's got a lot of connections.
A lot of connections and a lot to do, with that. I am not a big Mark Cuban fan at all, being a new Dallas Maverick fan.
I mean, you can say, being a Maverick,
because he didn't give Dirk the help he needed when he was great. And they didn't luck into, but they kind of lucked into the championship. With those guys,
Lakers had a good time.
They caught the Lakers at a good time. They caught this, and Dirk played his ass off and got in that championship, and that's great. I just don't want to sit back and go, we're looking at this team 2 years from now going, where's Luka's help? Because that's the biggest question. Give him a true number 2. I think we're probably going to overpay Brunson to keep him, but I don't think he's a consistent number 2, in my opinion.
Well, and this is easily, I mean, I would say this is easily the one of the biggest stars in the NBA right now. And I think the Mavericks, I don't know how we managed to get this guy, but Mark Cuban's going to keep this guy. He's going to
Phoenix was stupid.
Yeah, the 3 teams above you didn't know how to draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible.
Aiden was a better. That worked out well.
It's incredible. So I think I as much as maybe personality wise or things that he may have done in the past, whatever, it is what it is. But in terms of what Mark Cuban has done now in the years we've had Luka so far, I like what's going on.
Well, check this out.
Well, look,
the most important draft.
Hold on, guys. The most important fan comment right here by Josh.
Yeah.
He's digging the beer, brother. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
So you heard what happened this week, right?
With who? With what?
With what they're saying that Ayton might be a Maverick. They're saying that he's a restricted free agent and he might go to Dallas. Could you imagine having?
They need a big man. My gosh,
yeah,
they need a big man.
Can you imagine having the guy you passed on and picked over me, and then we get him anyway?
Is he already a free agent?
Well, he's restricted. They can match the offer, but I mean, are they going?
Why would he leave a team that just won the championship though?
Maybe he doesn't like Chris Paul.
Well, Chris Paul is kind of I don't know who does like Chris Paul.
But that's the point. Everybody leaves. There's not too many people that like playing with CP3.
If we got Ayton, I'm doing cartwheels in the living room.
Well, see, but you gotta remember
live on the podcast.
Deal.
You got to remember what Craig said though. The better that the Mavericks, even coming out of diversity, getting further in the playoffs, the higher an opportunity is that a free agent's going to go. You know what? They're close.
Yeah,
they're really close.
They beat us. No. They beat us. If I can't beat them, join them. Ask Durant. He's like, I can't do this. Let me go play with Steph.
He's that still infuriates me.
That doesn't count.
It does not count. Well, Josh put this in a minute ago. Let's get back to the series here. I know we've been talking about Luka's greatness. Josh says Curry and Thompson have been a non-factor. And I think you're right, especially with Thompson. He's not the same guy after he blew out his knee a couple times. But defense is the only way to keep Golden State out of it. Luka has to have help. 100%. Luka definitely has to have help, and that's my biggest concern in this series. I think you have too many games where he doesn't get enough help. We saw game one. Tonight, to me, I'm going to ask you guys this question, but to me, is tonight a must-win for Dallas? And I'm going to say yes, it is a must-win for Dallas. And I know you can look at it and go, look, they just went down 2-0 to the Suns. I just think Golden State, they've been there before, right? They've won the championship. They know what it takes to close out series. The Dallas Mavericks are going to come out on fire tonight, and they've got to win this game. And I do think they win tonight's game. But is tonight a must-win game for the Dallas Mavericks that you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, not well.
Well, I mean, I say yeah.
I mean,
but
it's not game 7,
but
obviously.
I don't like the fact that, like, I don't like the idea of going down 2-0. I think that really bothers me because it's who this team is. The Suns, I kind of had a thing like I think we'll win a couple and even this out. But when it comes to Golden State, it worries me because they know exactly how to take teams out and find that disadvantage. And I don't like having a claw out of a hole with this team. I just don't. It worries me.
Yeah.
And I think they are more battle tested than Phoenix, but they are also a team that was up 3-1 on LeBron and lost. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not the situation you want to be in, but
Right.
It's not death sentence.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking you go down 2-0, and we talk about Thompson really hasn't done nothing, but you could get a night where he goes off for 35
Yeah,
points
100%,
and
100%.
you lose, and you're going, how did this happen?
And the road hasn't seemed to bother Golden State, where we've
Right.
talked about Dallas being on the road and the role players. They went into Memphis and played better, and Jordan Poole played better, and it doesn't seem to affect Golden State as much as it does Dallas because of that being there,
Right.
and being
when you
more
and
experienced.
you look at this, you look at that, and I go, well, heck, Memphis put up a good fight against them, so that gives me hope that Dallas can do that too, because I think Dallas is better than Memphis.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, but it's been some good basketball playoffs. This is actually the basketball playoffs they've gotten more viewers. These games have brought in a lot more viewers, and there's I don't know what it is. Is it better basketball play? Is it
It's the younger talent, the younger generation,
not the same teams? Yeah, you're not seeing LeBron in there again. And
yeah,
you're not
the
seeing
younger
this
generation following Luka. I mean, like Jeff said a couple weeks ago or last week, the foreign following that Luka brings and all these guys bring, there's more viewership. It's just it's you have viewers of other outside the U.S. now. That's gonna everything's gonna go up, marketability, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting. I mean, it's a big deal, and these people will tune in. Like they'll tune in. There's actual people that I've seen where they're like, for example, there's our Denver Bronco fan. There's a channel on this guy. He lives in the UK and he watches every game. And so it's just kind of like, there, as much as we may not think about it, man, overseas, there's some rabid fans, and especially
you showed the kid the other day from Thailand had the sign up that he flew from Thailand to watch Luka.
Yeah. Well, Jeff,
I mean, how much does that cost? If we're buying NBA tickets, he's sitting courtside, flying from Thailand. I mean, just sold the 401k to go watch game one of the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, I got to point this out, buddy, and I got to eat some crow here because I was wrong. A couple weeks ago, this is probably, it may have been about a month ago, you talked about how, and I'm not wrong just yet, but it seems to be they've been talking about it a lot more in the NBA about how teams are going away from super teams. And you talked the exact same thing, and about how teams are going away from super teams. They're building the young talent. They've got one or two guys that are really good, and they build that young talent around them. I that's very interesting concept. I still think if people have the ability to form a super team, but a lot of times that doesn't work as building a super team. So I got to give you kudos. You talked about it, and then like a week later, I heard it on Sports Talk Radio all over the place, and I'm like, man, Jeff may have been right on that one, but kudos to you. You pointed that one out, and
I mean, it's like watching a movie with like a million starting cast that are high level actors, and you go, "This sounds great," and then you watch it and you're like, "This is horrible. They don't all work together. Like they don't have any kind of chemistry." So that's kind of what it reminds me of. So
yeah, sorry, we got a little bit. I mean, it's still NBA, but
yeah.
Interesting to see. I'm excited to see these young talents and players come with Luka and John Morant. I love watching John Morant dunk on people.
He definitely had a good year. I mean, if Memphis can put
insane.
some stuff around him.
Yes. I got another interesting NBA hot take, or I don't even know if it's a hot take anymore. I think Zion Williams will be one of the biggest busts in NBA history. Is that a hot take, or is that
No,
not?
because I had that when he came in. I said that when he came in.
I remember people talking about that before he got in.
Yeah,
he had
I mean,
the
way
hype of LeBron.
he just doesn't seem to have the work ethic that
No.
to want to work out and body type. And they've told him that the weight on his feet, and I mean, he blew his shoe out in college. You know, I mean, it just But I think it's just a work ethic thing. I think it's. He says after the playoffs is over, he comes out and says, "Well, if there was a game 7, I was going to surprise everybody and play." Well, don't tell us now. No. Tell us back then. Tell us when it was going to happen. Don't tell us after you got eliminated that you were going to play game 7, because nobody knows if that's true or not.
Yeah, and then he's out there doing 360 dunks, and you're like,
you're doing 360 dumps in warm up, but you can't play.
You can't play. Okay.
What? Okay.
Sorry. All right. Sorry, that was not an NBA topic. Anyways, all right. Well, that's the NBA spotlight of the week. It is time for the headlines, guys. It is time for the headlines of the week. Let me get that ready. All right, headline number 1. We head into the college football realm here. Craig and Jeff and viewers here watching the show. We've had some beef, to say the least, between Nick Saban, Alabama head coach, and Jimbo Fisher of Texas A&M. And this all has to do with Saban basically starting the fight and he said that Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies bought every athlete they got, all right? Basically insinuating that they broke the rules and all this stuff. Well, Jimbo fired back. Jimbo went scorched earth on this guy. And he says
double, triple, quadruple down, whatever you want to call it.
I got a quote from him here. Okay, and I quote, "Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out a lot of things you don't want to know. We build him up to be the Caesar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out. What he does and how he does it. It's despicable." Yeah, very interesting. There's probably a lot more quotes. You probably go read all that. I'm not going to sit here and read word for what he said. But he put Nick Saban. He went scorched earth. He said everything I've done has been the right way. I'm not a liar or a cheat. And when I grew up, he goes, when I grew up, I didn't lie or cheat, because if I did, my dad would slap me in the back of the head. Maybe someone should have slapped Saban. Saban then apologized for his remarks, saying he didn't say that he did, that he cheated. He didn't say that. It was just assumed. But I'm like, at the end of the day, when Saban comes out and says that, you're basically saying that Jimbo Fisher's dirty, and it comes off that way. This is all because of the NIL deals and everything else. What do you guys have to say? What do you guys have to say about this?
I don't know, man. Like I look at it and I'm just kind of like, I wonder how many teams do that. I wonder, if that's a thing. I mean, it's something. I mean, I'm sure there's something going on.
Well, look, we know
it's college football. These guys want to be the best. They want to be, they want to get ahead or an edge in some way, shape, or form. The college does make money off of this, in some way, shape, or form with wins and bowl trips and all this kind of stuff. And you have. Saban's a big name, obviously, and then this guy, being him, kind of throwing him under the bus and stuff. I just, it just seems like I would not be surprised if this happens. You and I watched a whole documentary about how college guy was getting people into colleges and messing with the NCAA rules and just so that he could make an extra buck, so it's just
we all know that shady stuff happens in college football, college athletics. They used to pay people and give their families houses and cars and on the hush hush. These NIL deals allow them to do this, but to do it legally when the NCAA has done a horrible job of putting any rules and regulations on it. So
it's never been explained. You don't know what it covers. It's just wide open.
And that's the problem. I agree with these NIL deals, but there's got to be some type of rules and regulations.
Who can give it to them? How is it boosters? Is it sponsors?
Exactly.
Is it corporates? What is it?
If I'm torn between two teams and Nick Saban says, "Hey guys, come to me. You're going to win championships. You're going to work hard, all that good character stuff," or Jimbo Fisher says, "Hey, down here you can get a brand new car, $3 million, and your family will be set." Where do you think I'm going? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it kind of brings into the deal, because there are no regulations. Well, Greg, I know you're big. I know you're bigger NCAA fans than we are, or much more probably about it. What do you have to say about NIL deals?
The thing of it is this has gone on for years. This has gone on for years, and the NIL just made it somewhat more legal to do. That's all it did.
Yeah,
they've been getting these guys, they've been bribing them. But I'm telling you right now, both these guys, if you don't think that the NCAA is now going to look. They better, when Jimbo Fisher goes scorched earth and doubles and quadruples down, he better hope that what he's saying is accurate. Because if he's not, and they find out,
Nick Saban too.
That's another one.
Saban will go right back. Yeah, Saban's the same way. If these guys have brought Saban, better hope that his books are clean and that he can prove that what he's saying. I mean, could you imagine Alabama having to go on probation? Oh my goodness. College football would melt down. No. It would just the internet will break if the star of college football decides to get put on probation and deal. I mean, you're kidding me right now.
Yeah. Well, also the other thing was, Saban backpedaled a bit.
Yeah, so he walked it back.
Don't. Yeah. Oh, did I just say? I didn't say anything.
But Jimbo worked for him. So when he goes, when he says, "Hey, ask the people that work for him," they don't ever go back. Yeah, that's Fisher talking. I work for him. He's like, I learned from Bobby Bowden. We learned the right way. He's like, when you learn from Saban, people don't like it. They don't go back.
Yeah, this could be interesting.
Yeah,
it will be. And they play each other this year.
Oh.
6 a.m. And the Aggies play each other this year. So that makes it even much more interesting. But yeah, Saban said, I didn't mean to call anybody out. You directly called.
You directly said A&M, and you said Jimbo's name. I didn't mean to call anybody out, but I said Jimbo.
They asked him if he apologized. Yeah, different Jimbo. They asked him if he apologized. He said, I called him, but got no response. Jimbo said, I'm done with that relationship.
Well, Jimbo said, I'm not going to answer the phone. He goes, but if he wants to call me out publicly, we can talk about it publicly. So basically, Fisher said, if you want to do it in person, have a news conference, we'll do it. But other than that, I'm not picking up the phone.
Yeah,
I saw the YouTube clip this morning, and I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, the reporters were trying to ask questions, and Fisher just kept talking. He's just like, no, hold on, I'm not done.
Oh yeah. He went scorched earth. It was great. Go look that up and watch the clips if you can. Number 2, we move into a MLB.
Just want to give
Headline.
everybody an update real quick. 23-10 Mavs.
Nice.
So
I
far.
didn't think they started till 8.
It started now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
8:20.
8:20. My bad. I'm a little bit off there. Nice. 23-10. Like I said, they got to start off on fire. That's where all our viewers are, as they're watching the
Luka
Mavericks
has
games.
21.
Yeah, Luka has 21.
I mean, I don't think so, but I mean,
yeah.
it'd be funny.
Number 2, the headlines, the Mets. The Mets are cursed with pitching. They just are. They just have something that they build their stadium. It's a pitching mound on top of a Indian burial ground out there. I don't know. I don't get it. Oh my gosh. Max Scherzer's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with an oblique strain. The Mets are cursed, guys. Severe. Oh yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
That's 60-day DL time. That's 12 starts. No, I'm not
That's
good at math, but that's 12,
huge.
10 to 12 starts.
Now, you'd rather have that now than at the end of the year, but
100%. But I mean, the Mets
You gotta
they're leading baseball almost. They're right there with the Yankees in leading baseball, and this is huge.
huge loss. Jeff, it's not funny. All right, those poor Mets fans are going, not again. God, why?
They'll be getting the trash bags out, or the big paper sacks out pretty soon. No,
Yeah.
no, it's. I mean, it's early. It's early, so but Max Scherzer being out, that's massive.
Yeah,
It's huge. It's massive. It's massive. That's what she said. All right, Craig. Number 3 is Craig's hockey hat trick. Craig is going to break down the NHL playoffs for us. Craig, what's been going on, brother?
I mean, the NHL playoffs have been golden this year. You've got series after series, game after game, comes down to the wire. Your game 7's in the first down. You had multiple ones. 2 of them went to overtime. And I mean, last night, Tampa is 3.8 seconds away from going to overtime, and the guy throws a blind pass between his legs, and the guy roofs it for a game winner, and they take the deal.
3 seconds. That is
you've got Calgary. You've got Calgary, who didn't score 9 goals in the whole Star Series, puts up 9 goals against Edmonton. It's a 9-6. That's supposed to be your old school hockey fight. Low scoring, I had this as like a 2-1 deal, and they 9-6 the first game. Well, okay, that's not anything close to what we're doing. Tampa's up 2-0. The St. Louis Blues have come back, and here's Colorado. They think they're world beaters. They sweep the first series. They win the first game. It looks like they're on, going to cruise again, and Jordan Binnington just stands on his head and stops the world. St. Louis plays better in the middle of the ice, keeps the puck out of their neutral zone, and they win 4-1. So I think you've got a bunch of good series going on. The Calgary series, never saw that coming with the big shootout. I think that goes back to playing a little more defensively. Mike Smith for Edmonton, he didn't stop anything, obviously. So it's going to be very solid. I still think Colorado has the upper hand. But St. Louis did play better. So, I mean, hockey is in rare form right now. Normally you have a clear cut. Here's who's going to lead into the playoffs. And this year you don't. You've got 8 teams left, and any of them could walk in and deal. The Florida Panthers are in trouble being down 2-0 to the Lightning, who have won back-to-back, cups. I think they're probably the one that you would say there's the weakest link. Tampa looks like they're going to go roll in and be in the finals again. Well, the Eastern Conference Finals. So they are very primed and ready to look at a three-peat.
Yeah, they're talking about basically after going down 2 games to 9, they pretty much unless a miracle
Yeah.
happens. They're pretty much gone.
Against a team like we're talking about in the NBA, Tampa's battle tested. They've got the guys. They're all, Corey Perry went over there from the Stars. He's playing again. He scored a goal last night on a redirect that was, amazing. They're just Kucherov and those guys. They're just battle tested. So I would think that the Lightning are at least looking to go to the East Finals and then probably push for their three-peat.
Now, I'm new to hockey. I've tried to get back into it this season, and I'm going to start jumping back into it. And for what I hear, the Colorado is supposed to be the world beater, and they're young. They're very young.
Yes, they're very young. They have a very solid nucleus. This is like we were talking about, in the NBA. Here's a core who's good. Colorado's going to be good for a long, long time.
Well, staying with in the NHL, we had breaking news today that Rick Bowness, head coach of the Dallas Stars, is stepping down after 3 seasons. Kind of shocking news because 2 days earlier he said he has fire left in and wants to be the head coach of the Dallas Stars, and now he's stepping down. And this is straight up the Dallas Stars saying, "Hey, buddy, step down, or we're going to fire you and move on." And they got rid of not just Bowness; they got rid of the whole coaching staff is gone. And I think it's great. I don't think they really wanted Rick Bowness. If we all go back and remember, this is basically the interim coach that had a little too much success, and they were like, "Well, shoot, guys, we really can't fire him."
When you go to a cup, when you take him to the Stanley Cup, you can't exactly
you can't really just say,
go.
"Hey, yeah." And so very interesting to see who comes in. Not that I'm really gonna know who. Craig, you were telling me earlier there's a couple really good head coaches out there.
Well, in a move, I think that probably forced Dallas's hand. The Golden Knights let go of Peter DeBoer, and here's a guy who took an interim team in the Golden Knights and took them directly to the Stanley Cup, and they were 2 wins away from winning a cup. And so they made the playoffs every year. This year they took Dallas down to 81 games, and then Dallas finally eliminated them mathematically. So they were almost in the playoffs again this year. So here's a guy who has success after success after success. And so I think when the Golden Knights shockingly let him go, Dallas is like, well, we got to make a move now because somebody's going to snatch him up. And then you got Claude Jardine. I mean, you got Torbert. You've got several coaches out here, but you've got 3 teams in Detroit, the Islanders, the Golden Knights. They're all looking. So if you don't make your move, you're going to end up getting what's left over. So I think Dallas made this move today, and I think you're going to see them move very quickly into find a replacement.
Yeah, because Dallas has some talent, and
they're deep.
They found out that they really have a goalie. They found out he is the guy that's going to be in between the net for a while for them. I'm talking like I've come up with this on my own. I hear this on Sports Talk Radio. The biggest concern for Dallas is they don't have their first line scores the points, but they don't have a lot of scores on the other lines on their lineups. Is that, their first 2 lines, Craig, or what are we talking about with Dallas?
Well, Dallas has 2 guys coming. Wyatt Johnson and hold on. Marvik Bork are in the minor leagues, and Wyatt Johnson was like the MVP of the league that he was playing in. He took his team to whatever that minor league championship, and he is ready to go. He will be on the roster next year. You got Jason Robertson, who had 40 plus goals in his rookie season, and then of course you've got your goaltender who looks to be like he's the real deal. It depends. It's going to depend on what Dallas wants. Do you hire an offensive coach? Do you want more offense, or do you want to go with a defensive guy because you let up 67 shots to your goaltender, and you need to put some people in front of you to prevent. You need some forechecking. You need to like St. Louis did last night in closing down the middle of the ice and keeping the puck out of the neutral zone. which way do you want to go? So that's going to be watch who they hire and watch his specialty. That's going to tell you the plan of which way Dallas wants to go.
All right, thank you there for that, Craig. Some good NHL information there. I've got to jump back into it because I tell you what, as I was watching the other night, every shot is in the playoffs is anticipation of did it go in? Did it not go in? Here, it's a roller coaster of emotions.
Or it hits off the pole. Ding. It's
Ding!
oh my!
Yeah,
no.
which you know when this is the craziest stat you'll ever hear. When the puck hits the post, that's not a shot on goal.
Oh
They
man,
don't
It doesn't count.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
So when you see the stats, those don't count. It hit the goal. It couldn't be any more of a shot on goal, but in hockey, that does not count. I blew Brian's mind with that stat.
Yeah, I was
Oh my
like, what
God.
the heck? That makes no sense to me.
That's ridiculous.
Little NBA update here, guys. We got 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Mavericks are up 30-25.
Okay.
So Golden State came back a little bit. And
yeah.
Luka
back and
has
forth.
16.
That's
and
good.
Brunson has 8. And
That's
then basically nothing.
And didn't really pee down his leg again.
No.
We will keep updating you until we can go watch the games ourselves if we ever shut up talking. All right,
As
guys,
we're hollering in the background.
Right. Yeah.
Brian
Anyways,
flips his laptop over.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move to number 5 here. And who tweeted this, guys? Can you tell me who tweeted this without looking at it? It says, this is the tweet. It says, man, signing at Juice Landry and Matthew Era makes me want to come back and play again. Great additions, leaders, and players. Who tweeted that out?
Makes me want to come back again. Probably Breeze.
Yes. This tweet from Drew Brees has the media and questions going berserk. Is Drew Brees wanting to come back? They talked about how the report came out that said that Drew Brees is done after 1 year of being an analyst. But he said, I think Craig's frozen, guys. Craig is frozen again. This happens once a show. Drew Brees, what is he going to do? And he said, but despite speculation, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year, whether that be playing football, whether that be analyzing, whether that be coaching my kids' teams. Do we want to see Drew Brees come back?
I don't. What is the deal with this in NFL? It's like, I'm not going to come back, or I'll retire. No, I'll come back. Oh no, I'll retire. No, I'm going to come back. I mean, we started with Favre.
Watch your mouth there, Jeff. You watch your mouth.
It started with Favre, and here we go with Tom Brady. And if Brees comes back, I don't really understand the point.
Brees is done.
It's just like, he makes, I just think that it's kind of like, let's just come on. You said you were going to go off in the sunset. Well, then go off into the sunset. There's not much else to prove. You're a bona fide Hall of Famer. You're going to be in Canton, obviously. So there's just no sense in he's back. There's no sense.
He at his finest.
Craig said, "Peace out, guys. I'm going to watch the Mavericks game."
What? I'm out. Yeah, deuces.
But yeah, like I'm like, let's just stop this nonsense. If you're gonna retire and just do it. Like, none of this back and forth crap. It happened with Tom Brady. I swear, let's just not see this, please. I like Drew Brees.
Yes,
but I don't want to see this again. Like, I don't want to see this back and forth crap.
His arm's done. He's washed his arm. He cannot throw down the field anymore. He does not need to come back. Please stay out of football, Drew Brees.
Well, I don't even know where any of this came from. I mean, NBC comes out and says they're moving on from him, and then he comes out with this. I might come back to NBC. Well, NBC just told us that they're not, so you're not doing that. I might come back to another team. Well, training camp's in a week, Drew. Who are you going to sign with? I just don't think. I think it was just a move by him to not get, like, I'm not getting fired. I'm still might work for NBC. I might do this. I might go coach this. I might, he threw in the joking, like he might go do this other deal. I don't even know what that meant. No, I don't think he comes back. I think that was just a deal to make sure that everybody know he didn't get fired. He is just leaving his job. He might do some other things, so he can't commit to NBC, rather than NBC said, "You're terrible at this job. We're letting you go."
Correct. I agree. I swear, if Drew Brees comes back, see Tom Brady came back because he goes, "Wow, that's my competition in my division. That's an easy playoff berth." He's got nothing. There's nobody to compete with.
That was annoying in itself.
Oh, I hated it. I was like,
oh
punch
my
him in the
gosh.
face.
Like,
Yeah, he was almost part of the Dolphins organization, and now all of a sudden
Yeah.
he comes back and he's,
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
And
Which
how
is
did
kind of-
nobody hear about that? How did he go over and be almost part of the Dolphins organization? They were on the brink of making him part of the ownership and this and that and the other, and then all of a sudden he comes back, but nobody ever heard that he went to the Dolphins till after it was done.
yeah.
Like
and
somehow nobody heard that.
what cracks me up about that entire situation is that Schefter just was dead set on that. It was like, yep, he's retired. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess because Adam Schefter is saying it and he's got an inside knowledge of whatever's going on, I guess, and personal relationship with him. I don't know. I was like, well, then that's it. Well, obviously not.
It's like
come
what
on, man.
Tony Romo hasn't officially retired, right? He hasn't signed those papers.
Yeah. He never
NFL.
filed them. He never filed them with the league. Romo's already said though, he's like, no, we're not doing that. I mean,
yeah.
he would be in a wheelchair if he did.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jeff, I don't mean to throw your Yankees on this as in any bad way, because they are leading Major League Baseball right now and they're playing really, really well. But this is an interesting Dummy of the Week award goes to Jake Sanford, who was a New York Yankees prospect, was let go by the team for stealing bats and memorabilia so he could sell and scam fans.
What an
idiot. They obviously thought this guy was worth something. They gave him almost $600,000 in a signing bonus. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Here's a money commitment. They thought this guy might have been something. But how? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Just I don't know. Like, I just think I saw it the other day and I just rolled my eyes and I was just like, what? How ridiculous can you be? Yes, you maybe, it's a different ball game when you're in the, AA, AAA space and you're kind of are clawing for that opportunity, clawing for that money,
and you're
all
getting
that kind
paid
of stuff.
Nothing. Yeah.
And yeah, I get that. But I mean, come on now. Like, you don't
No,
even have.
I'm just saying you're getting paid nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you don't have to do those kinds of things. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. If you want to, it's just like stealing. I mean,
to think you're not going to get caught.
Oh yeah,
like this stuff's just going to go missing, and we're not going to look for it.
They run a tight ship.
Yeah,
like you're not going to get away with.
Yeah, the equipment guy the equipment guy who's going to get fired he's going to look.
Yeah. I saw it the other day. And I don't know whoever. I mean, you know what? I'm glad.
Could you imagine working your butt off, getting all the way up, getting to where you want to be,
in the world, you're one step
and
from
then
the show, and you throw it all away because you sold some bats for probably $50.
What an idiot!
Selling on eBay
a bag of Big League Chew and some sunflower seeds.
So, ridiculous. Like I mean, it's kind of a joke, but it's just like, you know what? Go ahead and go somewhere else, I guess. I mean, the Yankees have quite a bit of talent in their AAA and AA pool, so I'm not necessarily too worried about it. They may have thought something about the guy, but
I mean, this guy's a rookie. You would think maybe he doesn't know any better. But I mean, you guys saw the story I talked about Tuesday, right? With Matt Harvey.
Yeah, I think I listened to that when you were talking about that. That was just
I don't know. I don't
dishing
know
out some oxycodone in the locker room.
Yeah,
he's got suspended for 60 days now.
Yeah,
60 games because he's passing out oxycodone. And MLB's like, hey, Tyler Skaggs died because of that. We're gonna keep an eye on that now. So I mean, and that's a guy who here's a rookie. Matt Harvey's made millions.
Yeah.
and he's doing it. So I mean, maybe it's just I don't know. He was on a minor league contract, but maybe these guys just haven't learned.
Well, Jeff, as I brought up the Yankees, and I know it's early in Major League Baseball, but they're playing really well. And this made me think: is this finally the team that you put together? Because y'all have had talent for a long time, but this is because you're staying healthy. Judge is playing every game.
He's
What's
got something to prove. He's got to get that contract.
What's the other guy that's always hurt? Stanton. He is healthy playing. If they keep this pace and they keep playing and they keep being healthy, this is fine. The Yankees fan base and the Yankees organization goes, finally, if we stay for freaking healthy, this is the team that we know can win it. This has got to give you some a little bit of promising. I know it's still early. This has got to give you some promising happiness looking into the future. I'm talking about this season, not the future. I mean, the future, but this year as in winning.
Yeah, well, yeah, and there's a couple of pieces that are coming in the future that I think are going to be a big deal. And it seems like a big deal, especially shortstop wise. And I think there's a couple of issues I think with this team, even though we're really on top. There's an issue with Chapman. Something's up with him. He's kind of been shaky this season. He's given up. He actually gave up a walk-off walk this year. And so Boone kind of just kept them in there, and I don't know what happened with that, and it was against, I think, Baltimore, which was like, how did we lose that game? But what I really like so far, I mean, they're hitting the way they're supposed to. They're doing things different that they didn't do last year. They were not aggressive base runners last year. They were played a real safe kind of thing. Boone didn't really try to do anything out of the box. So we would end up losing these games that were ridiculous, that didn't make any sense. One of the big, and I stress this, one of the big reasons I think that we are doing better is Gary Sanchez is off the team. As much as I enjoy Gary Sanchez, as much as his power was great, as much as it was great to see a homegrown talent come in and be a part of the organization, Gary Sanchez was a liability. We paid him he was being paid for his power. His catching ability was horrible. He could never frame pitches.
Worst frame rate in baseball.
Yeah, he was horrible. And I think that we saw it even with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole could not pitch to him. He was just like, I don't want him there. Bring in, the other dude, and he came in there, and it was just kind of like
screaming at him on the mound of what he's throwing and telling people what he's going to throw. And
so, I mean, now that that's gone, we have a great backup and starting catcher. Yeah, they don't have the power, but honestly, it doesn't matter. They are framing pitches well. They're playing better defense. They're great defensive. They're great catchers. And I think that's one of the things that Yankee fans have kind of thought about. They thought Gary Sanchez could have been that Posada-esque type guy, but Posada wasn't a great offensive player either. He did all right, but he was a great catcher.
He was called a great game, knew what pitches, did his homework.
Right. So I don't know. They're doing well right now. I do think there's a possibility that maybe not this season, but I have a feeling that maybe even going into next season. But I think that we're going to end up I hope that they make some form of trade before the deadline to get a couple more pieces. I think that maybe one more bat if possible, or even a relief pitcher, just to kind of keep that kind of going, because I worry that there will be an injury, and there will be at some point. It is baseball, so
you just don't know how long. Is it going to be the Scherzer 6 to 8, or is it going to be one start?
But my thing is, Chapman, I think, is going to be a liability, and I don't know.
He's been on the downslope for several years. When he left and came back, he left and was the Cubs. He blew a couple games. He almost cost them that championship.
Yeah, and he I think the first few years in New York, he was all right. It's just this last season, it was so glaring. His velocity was down, And once that happened, then he tried to mix in another pitch in there, which actually did kind of work out last year a little bit. But this year that pitch isn't working. So now that his velocity is down, that other, I think it was a slider that he was trying to throw isn't working anymore. So it's just kind of, this might be it for him. But I think the Yankees need to come up with some kind of solution to either back in that, because that's going to be a problem. And he's getting paid so much. You can't, it's not like you're going to bench him, so it's just kind of a problem.
You know what would also help the Yankees is if Joey Gallo actually did something instead of strike out.
You heard what Craig Carton said today, right?
You know what?
Craig Carton, the sports talk up there, he's like, Gallo's got to go. He's like,
you show me
horrible.
That. He's got to get out of here. Hey, give him back to the Rangers next year when there's no shift. I'll take him all day. But right now, when the shift's on, he's not. It's either home run or strikeout, and right now he's in a big slump.
Yeah,
we can't even hit in the minor league park.
I mean, the same things happening with same things happening with Aaron Hicks and with the Yankees too. So it's interesting, but all the guys that are firing all cylinders are the guys that you want to be firing all cylinders. Josh Donaldson has been this massive surprise. A lot of the fans have been very shocked by that. Rizzo is just been, and Stanton, I can't argue enough that he's come back.
Stanton's always there when he's healthy. It's just a matter of him staying healthy.
And
he matches the ball every time he's there. He just doesn't, when he misses 80 games a year. He's
reminding me of the Stanton that we got.
That you traded for or signed,
yeah. And plus the one that was the year prior to coming to New York. So if that continues, this is going to be a pretty interesting season. The one thing that we have to definitely get a hold of is freaking Houston. That's always been a thorn on our side. And I want to see us go up against some of these massive, I do think that it was possible we win this division. We've been basically just destroying the division foes at this point, but it's Houston. Houston's going to be a problem. And I want the Yankees to beat them. And then I would feel more, excited going forward. But we got to get through the All-Star break, and it's baseball, man. It's so hard to get excited so early because it's just anything can happen at any moment. So I kind of hold back, and I'm like, all right, I know you're doing well, but let's get through the All-Star break. Let's get through that month after, and then we can start paying attention a little bit and being excited and stuff and seeing where the standings are. But it's great right now. I mean, everything's panning out. Aaron Judge he's going to get paid. He's
there was a thing today. So. I don't know how accurate it was, but they said that the Giants could be in on him. I don't see that. They don't like to pay people.
I'm telling you right now, he's gonna get the Yankees are gonna sign him back. He's too. Too important.
I don't doubt it. There's no way.
Yeah.
The New York fan base would melt down if he walked.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We got an NBA update for you. Mavs are up 47-34. They're shooting 47% from 3-point range. They have Brunson.
That's the theory. I mean, that's the game plan.
Brunson has 13. Bullock has 7. You have 6 from Finney Smith, and Luka Doncic leading all scorers with 18. Steph Curry only has 11, and he's the only person close to him is 7. So right now they're playing good defense, and it's now 50-34. Phone just updated. Woo. So we're kind of laying it on a little bit. All right, guys. Well, that's been this episode. We're going to jump into what's in our locker. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and give me what's in your locker this week?
Snow. Which of them didn't mind by me. I like cold. So I just it doesn't bother me one bit. It did start out as rain earlier, but moisture here is always needed. So I think it's perfect. It's perfect. It's exactly what we need. To kind of keep everything wet and stuff like that, especially in the mountains. That's the hardest thing to kind of keep in check, because if a fire breaks out there, it's very difficult for them to get to. But yeah, like that work. Been watching some of the obviously watching Mavericks. kind of getting that up, paying a little bit more attention to baseball. Been kind of just catching it here and there. I used to be able to really kind of watch every game, but sometimes like sometimes games in the middle of the day or whatever, so I don't get to watch those. But the more that kind of goes on, the more I'm going to pay more attention to it and stuff like that. But it's so difficult because it's so early, so I wait a little bit. But yeah, other than that, just kind of work and chilling out at home and getting up. I think next week I'm more than likely not going to be on because we're going to head to my mom's for the weekend. My little sister's graduating, so we're gonna go to her graduation Saturday, and I think we're gonna be there until Monday afternoon, and then come back home. But I have Monday off, so it's gonna be a cool weekend because my sister's coming in town, or my older sister's coming in town, and so it'll be like a family thing at my mom's, and there's gonna be a lot of food and a lot of people and my grandparents. So
Nice.
it'll be fun. So that I'm looking forward to, and other than that, man, not much. So I'll swing it off to whoever's going next.
You go ahead there, Craig.
Just gonna work tomorrow. We got watch the rest of these playoffs, hockey, basketball, and then Sunday we wrap up the travel league in Fort Worth at Cowtown, and get ready for the end of the year tournament in Denton, which is 2 weeks away. So we're finishing up the fall of these bowling leagues, and just got some important people we're going to catch up with and make sure they're okay. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be the best we can be, and get ready for next week.
Yeah, hopefully you win that championship there, Craig.
That's Wednesday night. That's next Wednesday.
Craig's
Championship Wednesday.
Quite the good bowler. So, well, my locker this week, I got to work tomorrow. Actually signed up to work every Saturday from here on out, pretty much. Let's see. I got to take my daughter to a birthday party tomorrow, and those are always fun. Did Jeff? Oh, I thought Jeff was frozen. Craig might be. Oh no, are you glitching? Oh my god. All right. Well, I got to take Phoebe, my middle, to a birthday party tomorrow at a pool, so I'll get to go swimming tomorrow. Get my hair cut.
Yeah, swimming,
tomorrow.
Jeff. Swimming.
Not
snowboarding.
Not snowboarding. We're not building snowmen outside.
Yeah.
I've been interested in some new shows. I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, my favorite show of all time. I just finished Ozark. My gosh, Craig, watch the freaking TV, would you? No, I
never watched Sopranos either. I mean, while we're just throwing it out there.
Hey, I've never watched Sopranos either.
So good,
but
so good.
My brother's like, "What are you doing with your life?"
It's so good.
I finished Ozark. Fantastic. My gosh. Freaking-tastic. We got Stranger Things coming out pretty soon.
0 for 4. You want to keep going?
I cannot wait. Craig, I'm going to go ahead and just get you off right now because this is just an abomination. But I've been watching, I just started it. And I like to review different things, food, shows, movies, different things. I just started the new show Bel-Air. You heard about that one?
It's at the Fresh Prince one, but it's more of a drama.
It's a drama of the Fresh Prince, and I've seen 2 episodes. It's got a 66% on Rotten Tomato, and so far I don't know if I'm going to stick it out. I'll probably give it some more episodes. I got to give it. I was interested to see how they're going to build the characters, how they're going to portray different ones. And let me tell you what, the Banks family out in Bel-Air, okay, they make the real Fresh Prince family look poor. Okay, that's how over the top this is. Carlton's bedroom. They go in Carlton's bedroom. It's as big as my house. All right. The closet's as big as my garage. It's insane. It's so over the top. Is that kind of trying to bring that down a little bit and kind of get into the characters and how they're going to portray them. And I really like Fresh Prince growing up.
Yeah, me too.
Carlton's a complete D-bag. I mean, just ruthless. He's not the nerdy guy that they portray him to be. It's interesting to see. I'm going to stick it out and watch it, give you a better rating at the end of it. But right now, I'm not that big of a fan of it. So I've been watching that. Me and my wife watch a show, Jeff. You might like this. You might know it's called Face Off. It's a competition where they do kind of like Hollywood type of makeups and creatures, and they, it's really cool and interesting to see the kind of characters these guys make. But other than that, we'll be watching the Mavericks as best I can. We got to work tomorrow, and they start at 8:00. Celtics game Sunday night probably. Getting into baseball now that hockey's still got a little bit of ways to going. Dallas Stars are out of it though. Other than that, not much going on. We've got we got Austin's party, Craig, we're going to on the 28th. So some cornhole and swimming at his house. And then next month in June, we are going to my mother and father-in-law are having their 50th year anniversary.
Dang. Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. But other than that, there ain't much going on too much here at the Watson household, other than the everyday struggles. But all right, guys. Well, that is going to conclude our show. We've kept it under 2 hours, and that's fantastic when we have 3 people on. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks for commenting and tuning in, Josh. And we love to have people comment. And if you comment on our show, as long as it's appropriate, we will show it on our live stream on YouTube. So feel free to do so. Let's go, Mavs, guys. Let's get it. Let me give you one more update. Before we jump off the phone or the thing here. 56-41 with 4 minutes left in the second. So we're looking good so far. We still got a second half to play, but looking good so far. Look like a different team coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Than last time. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on with me. It's been a fantastic show. We'll be back
See you at work, and we'll see you Tuesday on the show. And
Jeff,
we'll see you when you get back. Have a good trip. Hope
all right.
Goes
enjoy
well.
your vacation, guy. Or enjoy your little mini vacation, and enjoy your weekend, guys. And
are y'all off Monday?
No.
Next Monday?
We only get off
Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's it.
That's it.
Oh, dang.
Okay. We get holiday pay, but
yeah.
Other than that, no.
No days off. We're like the Bill Belichick of the working world. No
Dude,
days off.
We have a sign that says, do your job.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
Do your job.
All
right.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. Let's keep it outspoken.
All right. Keep it outspoken. Take care, everyone.